Although edited for television, tonight's thriller contains scenes of suspense and violence which may be unsuitable for young viewers. Parental discretion is advised.
State-of-the-art Japanese animation.
Oh, huzzas, and welcome to the Otaku Host Club podcast. I am always me. I am Amelia, and I am always joined by Geoff and Dan.
Hey, fam.
Okay, there we go.
Hello.
Hi. Hey, everyone.
I only have one thing on my mind right now.
It is a chicken. It is a
It's the
very
chicken.
handsome chicken.
There's a chicken that's moved into my backyard. Well, the backyard of my apartment building. I moved in on Tuesday and it's still there. So because I realize, I now understand that it's never going to leave. I built it a little house and I bring it food every morning.
Okay, so get ready for the chicken saga, guys. 40 minutes before we get to the review.
Chicken Little.
So this episode, we're going to be talking about Star Wars Visions. I think we watched trailers for this a couple episodes back, and it is finally out. But before all that, Dan, continue with your chicken saga.
Well, it's
What's
not that
his
much
name?
of a saga.
Elijah?
Well, no.
Oh.
Hannah refers to him
Katsu?
as Rupert.
Oh, Rupert's
Rupert.
good.
But I don't want to name the chicken. I want the chicken to vacate, not because I don't like the chicken. I love the chicken.
Oh,
And I want the chicken to be happy and be comfortable.
that's so cute.
But I don't want to take responsibility for the chicken. Like, I don't want any pets. I just, in general, I don't want pets.
Oh, really? I was looking at a Pomeranian dog this week. I was like,
Oh,
North
Pomeranians are
Carolina?
Yeah, cute.
6-hour drive?
Yeah.
This is not like Rupert Murdoch, is it?
No, this is Rupert, who owns the record store up in Charles Village. One of my regular customers from Starbucks. Y'all know him?
I don't think so. The guy that owns Truvine.
No, not Truvine. I forget what it's called. He was a very nice customer, though.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, record store people are pretty nice, just saying.
Yeah.
People who sell records also are pretty nice. Just saying.
Try to be.
So you've just been watching your chicken, Dan. No anime, no nothing.
No, I've been watching
Strictly
anime,
chickens.
but I'm just super preoccupied with the chicken. It's been raining. I'm worried about the chicken. That's why I built him a little structure, but he doesn't seem to care for it. But at least he's aware that it exists, and I leave him food in the structure.
Did you put hay in the structure? I heard they like that.
Put a towel in there.
Security blanket.
Yeah. And
What anime have you been watching?
Wait, I'm not. I want to talk. Wait.
Oh, we're talking about more.
Let me finish about the chicken.
Okay.
All right. I'm just saying I don't want any pets because I travel. Presumably I travel a lot. I value freedom and flexibility in my daily life, and I don't want to take care of anything. I don't want to be responsible for anything, so I don't want to just adopt this chicken.
But you will adopt chickens when you move back to Baltimore in 2 or 3 years.
It's more possible.
Yeah, okay. You'll get a dog, maybe.
Yeah, more possible at that time. But right now, I don't want any pets. But the chicken, like, now it follows me around, and it looks at me, and I just want the chicken to be happy.
Aw. Rupert.
I don't want to call him Rupert. I don't want to name the chicken. I keep telling Hannah that the chicken doesn't have a name because we're not keeping the chicken. It's not, a member of our unit. It's just a temporary resident that we'll move on to greener pastures when we figure out what those greener pastures are going to be. I'm going to get an account on Nextdoor. I'm going to go and post about it. I'm going to go hand out flyers, like put flyers on people's doors around the neighborhood. Like
maybe like
lose a chicken.
Like how flyers on a farm, maybe where chickens can come from.
Yeah, but apparently it's legal to own chickens in Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
People at the gym were talking about this. So, I mean, it's clearly a chicken that belongs to somebody that escaped and can't find its way home. And I'm hoping that somebody in the vicinity owns chickens and is like, oh yeah, you know, our chicken vanished one day and now we can get them back. And, you know, that would make me feel good. But yeah, just there's a chicken rescue in Minneapolis too. So if all else fails,
he can go to
a chicken rescue.
That's cute. Also, in case you guys are wondering what the chicken looks like, he's very dark brown and he has little yellow feet.
He's black.
Is he black? He looks.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the sun was glistening on his feathers.
Yeah.
In the video,
glistens on him a little bit, but he's basically black. Yeah. He
That
looks
was a new-
skinny. He looks really skinny to me.
I was in New Hampshire and ran into some chickens that were fluffy, like rabbits.
Ooh.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you couldn't even see their eyes. It's like big fluffy feathers over their eyes and like
Aw.
little like high tops. They're really cute.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. This is definitely not one of those kind of chickens. This is a scrawny, stereotypical looking chicken.
This is an urban chicken, okay?
Yeah,
He's from the
chicken,
streets.
maybe. Yeah, maybe.
He's not wearing Gucci.
He
part of the
clearly
C
likes our
unit.
backyard because the other residents in this apartment building just leave their garbage everywhere. So this chicken just pokes around in the garbage all day. It seems to do okay for itself, and I leave it some food and some water because I am worried that the garbage is not enough to sustain it. I don't want it to be hungry or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Anyway, an anime I've watched Shirobako.
That's
Yeah.
exciting. Did you
Yeah,
finished it, right?
Chewbacca.
Yeah, I finished the whole series and the movie.
Oh wow. I haven't seen the movie.
The movie's quite good, and I really enjoyed Shirobako. I like that it's a realistic story, like it's a realist story, but it flirts with not surrealism, but it flirts with like non-reality a little bit, like the car chases. Like every once in a while, it'll have a scene that is clearly not realistic, but rather than clashing with the rest of the show, it feels entertaining and joyful, you know? And I think it works very well in that way. And I enjoyed Shirobako quite a bit. I started watching it because I wanted something about workplaces because of my new job.
Oh, why did you watch New Game?
I meant to watch New Game, but I got confused as to which one it was.
No, I mean,
So
like,
I started
Shirobako
watching.
is really good, but
That's why I texted you, because I thought that what we had watched was Shirobako. And so I put it on and I was like, oh, this isn't what we were watching together the other day. And that's when I texted you, like, what was that anime? It was New Game, not Shirobako. But I was already like 2 episodes into Shirobako, so I was like, I'm just gonna stay the course, you know. Finish
oh my
this.
gosh.
Yeah, I really.
If you watch
enjoyed
New Game,
Shirobako.
literally let me know. I love New Game so much.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch New Game soon.
The first like 3 episodes is literally just about the workplace.
Oh, okay.
Like
That's cool.
specifics, like about
So-
this girl starting off in a very brand new like dream job situation. It's kind of
Oh,
like
she-
it's kind of like not realistic to life, because she's like fresh out of, I don't even know if she went to college. She's either fresh out of college or fresh out of high school and goes into working for this company that she's idolized her entire life and played all of their games. But it's really freaking cute, and they really like get into like office politics and stuff like that.
Yeah, and Shirobako is the same way. It's very workplace oriented. It's not about personal drama. It's about work drama, and it has a lot of it's a very detailed look at the anime industry and how anime is created. And it did give me a little bit of pause for thought and reflection on how monumental the task of creating anime is. Because when we think of live action media, you know, you're capturing reality on camera. So things like sound effect and weather and lighting are already inherent in what's happening. You know, like you just have to manipulate and to your satisfaction and then capture it successfully. But a lot of the work of existing is already, or I guess I should say, all the work of existing in the first place is already done for you. But with anime, you really are like, you start with literally nothing, and every single thing has to be created, from the sound of footsteps to, you know, what the weather is like, to, you know, everything, people breathing, every single thing has to be created from scratch. That's crazy. And that's something I think we kind of take for granted when we watch this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and especially like scheduling things, and like I totally understand why studios have recap episodes, why they accidentally skip a week.
Yeah,
Like
Shirobako made that very, very clear.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy, and I don't want to sound like a broken record whenever we're like talking about anime that does that, like Wonder Egg and Promise Neverland and shit like that. Like I don't want to sound like a broken record, but Shirobako literally tells you why. Like I know why they do these things. It's still just like frustrating in the moment, but I don't want to keep saying, oh well, I already know why, because Shirobako taught me. You know. But yeah, you really kind of like gain a higher level of appreciation for creators, like in anime and like in all content too, because if you think about like just what it takes to make an animation, like it probably takes that to make a drawing, make a painting, make a movie, you know, like things like that.
And speaking of creators, that was another angle that I thought about a lot as I was watching Shirobako, was the way that the characters were grappling with what it means to be professionals in the creative industry, which is to say that, you know, when you love, you know, when you're a creator or an artist or whatever, and you love this format, this media, you know, you have all these aspirations and visions of all the different things you can do and all the different ways you want to express yourself, all the output that you want to create. And when that becomes your career, you find really quickly that the things you get paid for and the things that you want to do are not necessarily the same thing. You know, and you have to you have to find I guess a path forward that you know, you kind of have to sacrifice your dream a little bit in order to find the reality. You know, and the show, you know, they had a lot of examples of this, and I thought a great one was the young woman that was a 3D artist that worked for a company that specialized in 3D in doing cars, and all she did was she did cars, and she got paid a relatively handsome salary with nice benefits and a good work-life balance. But she was like, I don't like this because I don't want to spend all my time doing cars. I want to do real stories. And so she left this company real quickly, and it worked out for her in the show. But I felt like, dude, truly, this is the meaning of doing this kind of thing on a professional level. You know, you like take what you can get. And I that is something that I've grappled with a lot in my life when it comes to punk. And I have always erred on the side of doing it less professionally so that I can keep doing it in the way that I want, exactly how I want, without compromise. And that is better for me to do it as a hobby, but do it in the way that fulfills me, than it is to do it as a job and commit myself to it more, but have to to sacrifice, have to compromise in the particular ways that I want to do things.
That, and you know, the people that she looked up to in the industry were people who have been doing it for 40 plus years. Like they've already paid their dues. She's starting out entry level, and she has a really cushy entry level job. And that's kind of like the conflict, like internal conflict you have when you're a creator and you want to do a certain thing a certain way, but the job that you get is entry level and you're doing something that you don't like, because you feel like you're being stunted as a creator because you're not getting a chance to express how you can, you know, show yourself off. that's something that I feel like any artist grapples with, especially like in the equivalent of like a fine artist, like a painter or something. Like most of the time in New York, to get a job, you need to work for an already established artist as their assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And then you work on their stuff. You work on their art. You don't get to work on your art.
I think that's the biggest misconception about being an artist is that you just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And be successful. Like they teach you more or less that in art school, but they're like, oh yeah, just like it's more the creative end, not the business end.
Yeah,
and that's really what it is. It's a business.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I really feel like art schools should have business courses so that you can learn how to sell yourself and how to be, your own entity and like, work in the field. Cause like, the school that we went to, like they really did have an accelerated program. Like there are a lot of things that I learned in that school that I would not have learned anywhere else because the program was so accelerated, but it wasn't practical for when I got out of school and when I was trying to get a job. Because like, I mean, I also did something that was like totally impractical. If you go to school for illustration now, when they have cameras, like nobody wants illustrations of things. They're just going to take a picture of it and put it in the textbook. But, but yeah, so.
Yeah. And on a similar theme, I really valued, I think Daisuke was his name, the blonde guy that was very cynical and bitter about anime because his dreams had kind of been shattered over and over by how vicious his workplaces had been. And I thought about that a lot too, because I also kind of love and hate punk in the same way. And I feel like the show Shirobako talks a lot about like finding your passion and why do you want to create anime, and what is the meaning of your artistic pursuit in this industry. And I feel like if you really want to love something in a pure fashion, you should not look behind the curtain to see how it's made. And I think your relationship changes, your relationship to anything changes the more involved you get, and in this way, like I would never want to enter the anime industry because I want to maintain a pure, a very pure-hearted adoration, a pure-hearted love for anime. I don't want it to be tainted because I've gone the opposite route with punk, where I like got so involved in every angle and facet of it, and saw all the different nuts and bolts of how this stuff was made. And now I'm so full of hypercritical opinions and so full of just like constant misery and frustration and cynicism about it, even though I still love it, but also I fucking hate it and I don't want anything to do with it simultaneously. And that could have, I'm glad that I had all of those experiences, but if what I wanted out of my life was to just continue to appreciate good punk records on the merits of being a good punk record and just let the art resonate with me, I never should have gotten involved in releasing records and booking tours and like I should have just kept collecting records and let that been it and found other things to do with my time. The more you get sucked into the industry, the more like every you see just all the negativity that happens behind the scenes, and all your dreams and idealizations and preconceptions are just shattered. And I think it's got to be like that for everything, no matter whether you're into anything you're into. I'm sure it's like that even if you're like into the Renaissance Festival or something. I'm sure once you like start volunteering for that shit and get involved, after like 4 years, you're like, actually, this fucking sucks. This whole thing is a disaster. The people behind the scenes have no idea what they're doing. And they're crappy businessmen, and people are just not like as connected to the Renaissance feeling and blah blah blah. And
I feel like I was saying stuff like that about Otaku this year.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be on staff, right?
No, I would not be on staff.
Yeah,
exactly. They all look miserable.
I do.
And I'm sure they are, but I'm sure like they have their own unique love-hate relationships to conventions, where on the one hand they love it and their love is apparent in their dedication to it.
Yeah.
But
I'm trying to think if I feel like that at AX, because that's the con that I actually do volunteer for, but I don't think I ever have at AX. I think the magic at AX is just like, mwah, like you can't beat it. And then like when you get to see behind the curtain, you're like, oh, wow, you have glitter eyes, you're just like, oh, this is how it's all done. This is crazy.
Okay, I got one last point on Shirobako, then we can move on. I've been thinking, I think Shirobako has a lot to say about it.
Mm-hmm.
Shirobako as pro-anime industry propaganda. Does Shirobako display the anime industry in an extremely forgiving light based on what we know about the work conditions of animators and various industry people from their own words?
Just a little bit. It's pretty like the perfect situation. Like, I know that a lot of things go wrong within all of their anime, but at the end of the day, they get it done and it looks good and it sells well. The working conditions aren't bad. They don't look. They're not bad.
Exactly. The things that go wrong for them are things like top level miscommunications or conflicts, and somebody made a mistake somewhere. The things that they never show going wrong are like, none of the animators, nobody sleeps in the office in Shirobako, and nobody is working 70-hour shifts, or at least or 60-hour shifts or whatever. At least that's never apparent in Shirobako.
That does happen in New Game.
Oh, well, okay. So maybe New Game is a more realistic view of working in the industry than
still idealized.
Shirobako.
Well, what about Aizuken? Is the Aizuken more realistic?
Aizuken yeah, I think so.
Well,
they're not like in the industry,
yes,
but like
exactly.
I feel like that's exactly what you would do if you were in animation school. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Aizuken is realistic in its own way, but you're right that it's not an industry story. And Shirobako, for being an industry story, about 3/4 of the way through, I started to think, is this actually like weird propaganda? Like, was somebody contracted to make this so that the anime industry could be like, see, look how happy and joyful our industry is. There's no, like, this is a totally realistic, expression and example.
I think they were just saving face.
Works.
I think they're just saving face. They're like, we're gonna make an anime about making anime, but guess what, guys? We can't throw anyone under the bus. We got to make it the most perfect anime.
Yeah.
Can't have people coming back to us being like, you're revealing too many secrets. Because nobody knows how to license anime because they keep all the secrets hidden.
Yeah, and maybe that's the better way of thinking about it, is the idea of saving face, that they didn't want to throw anybody under the bus by displaying what we know are rampant industry problems.
And that's very rooted in Japanese culture, and especially Japanese work culture.
Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of interesting. I didn't think about the saving face angle of it, but that's pretty fair. Mm-hmm. So maybe Shirobako is not intentionally a propaganda piece, but it kind of unintentionally find its way to that point. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, somebody else can talk about something they watched.
So, I haven't been watching any of my seasonals because I really wanted to watch Danganronpa, because I have wanted to play the game, and I've played through the first trial of the first game. And I was like, okay, I know what this is about. I got this down. Okay, let me move to the anime, because I literally have no time to play games like at all. If I could play all the games that I want to play, like, I would not watch anime. I wouldn't even have like be able to go to work. That's how many games like I want to play, but I just can't. So I was like, you know what? The anime is very, very condensed version of Danganronpa. So let me just watch the anime. So I watched and finished it all in one weekend because it's just so good. It's basically a death game anime. These kids get transported into they get invited to a school called Hope's Peak. And the thing about the school is they cannot ever leave. And they have to exist in the school, and murders happen.
Oh.
So this was a good video game adaptation.
Yeah, I think it stuck pretty true to the character designs. Like, obviously, the game is going to be better just because of graphics, and the adaptation situation of adapting a video game to an anime. There's a little bit taken away from it, but I enjoyed it. I feel like it's a pretty linear storyline, and the arcs, I feel like, are you get the best of all of the arcs. I only watched I only played the first arc, but from what I was reading online, you get a pretty condensed kind of summary of the first game, because the first game, I think it has a playthrough time of 20 plus hours or something like that, and the anime is obviously only 13 episodes, so 2 hours versus 20 plus hours. Obviously you're not going to get everything, but I think for what it did it really well. And I really, really love the animation style of the what do you call it, when someone is found guilty and they get their punishment from Monokuma. The animation style totally changes, and it plays with a lot of different visual motifs, kind of like Madoka. And it's really cool, and I really love it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised because I was trying to pinpoint why I didn't like the Madoka witch animations, but I do like the Danganronpa ones. I just really can't put my finger on it because they're they have similar visual styles. They have similar paper cut, cut paper and black and white aesthetics and stuff. I don't know. It was really good. And then I watched Squid Game.
I've
been
It's not an anime.
It's not an anime. It's a Netflix
should be an
show.
Anime.
Dan, you need to watch this show. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I've never even heard of it.
Oh my god, it's like Kaiji, but Netflix show, and Korean, and not Japanese. But it's so good. Oh my gosh.
Squid Game.
I have I'm on the last episode, and I'm gonna finish it tonight. But oh my gosh, so many things.
It's a live action TV show.
It is.
Okay.
It's 9 episodes.
It's on its way to being the most watched Netflix series.
Yeah, the day I decided
Really?
to watch it, it was #1 on Netflix in the US.
Okay.
And if
Pretty
you
good.
follow me on Twitter, that's all I've been tweeting about. People are going nuts over Squid Game, and they're doing if Squid Game were an anime, but it was a Kame ga Kill, if Squid Game was a 90s anime.
Right.
And people are doing all these really fun illustrations about Squid Game, and oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's probably one of I feel like the best survival death game battle royale type of show or movie that I've seen in a really long time. I think the development of all the characters put into the situation and how they tell the story is I don't want to say it good, but it good. It's just so good.
And you watched this too, Geoff?
Yeah, I've watched an episode of it. We I think we started it the same day.
Yeah,
but we've only
I'm gonna watch Squid Game, Geoff. You gotta watch it.
Since my partner has not been home, I've been holding out. I'll say that. Yeah. I don't want to break. You want to end our relationship over a TV show.
You gotta wait.
Wait, where's Kara?
She's down in Virginia Beach.
Oh, that's cool. Fun.
For the second week in a row.
Yeah.
Weekend in a row.
I think that by the time the listeners hear this, it'll be Jeffrey's birthday.
Oh,
yeah.
Yay!
When's your
Happy birthday, Jeffrey.
It is on the 5th.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's in 2 days.
A little spooky babe.
Yeah, wait, what are we doing for your birthday?
You're moving back to Baltimore. I don't know if you knew this, but
Yeah, you bought me tickets to go see the Gundam in Japan.
Yeah.
The real life Gundam.
Nice.
Nice,
you don't know you paid for it yet, but
So that's what I'm doing with my new job.
Yes.
Yeah. That's your bonus right there. Yeah.
What have you been watching, Geoff?
Yeah, so I've been continued watching Pirate Princess Fina.
Okay.
And the Pirates of the Caribbean
girl
show.
Girl
version.
Yeah,
I've never
what do you
seen
think
it.
about
I'm
it?
sorry.
Yeah, I thought a little bit deeper about it. I'm like, this is it's a solid show. I think the animation is what kind of holds it all together, and the production of it. The story is kind of intriguing. But I thought the main character Fena would have more agency and be more like a badass. But she's basically just these two groups are fighting over her because she's a princess and she's got some secret powers, and who knows, right? But I'm gonna keep watching it. It's I think we're 4 episodes left in the season, and I know hopefully next week we'll talk more about seasonal stuff. I'm also watching. I'm gonna bring up another seasonal. I just finished To Your Eternity.
Oh, what'd you think of that?
I cried like a little baby. I cried like a little baby at the end.
Oh my God, they got Jeffrey in tears.
Yeah,
little
I'll
Fushi
definitely be
man.
crying too.
Fushi man got him in tears.
Yeah, Fushi. Yeah, I think it's a really good show. I know you weren't crazy about it, Amelia, but I think maybe it's the pacing that I don't like as well, but I found it really engaging. I like what it says about humanity and just like finding your not yourself, but like it's like a study on the human condition, I guess.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
It looks.
Oh my God,
it seems like the kind of thing that I'm into. So it's high on my list of things to check out. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I've been watching a different philosophical show that I know is on your radar, Geoff. I've been watching Phoenix.
Oh yeah, cool.
And
I'm happy you're watching that.
Yeah, I watched all the OVAs.
Wait, what's that? Phoenix Wright Attorney? Objection? No, not
No.
that one. Okay.
Phoenix is a manga written by Tezuka, the same guy that did Blackjack and Dororo and Astro Boy, and it was supposed to be his masterpiece. It's his giant philosophical treatise on the nature of mankind and the human condition, and he worked on it in bits and spurts throughout his entire career and passed away before he finished it. And there have been several adaptations of different story arcs because it's kind of episodic, and the idea is that it kind of alternates between telling stories from the past and telling stories far in the future. And as the manga goes on, these two timelines kind of coalesce to the modern day. And presumably, the manga is unfinished, but the assumption was that the final story would be happening in the present day. And all these stories have different characters and kind of different themes and different subject matter, but what they all have in common is the inclusion of the Phoenix as this godlike creature figure. It's the giant phoenix bird that is immortal and dies and is reborn, and it has the ability to grant immortality to human beings. And within the story of Phoenix, immortality is used as kind of like a karmic curse or karmatic punishment. Characters are consistently like they interact with the Phoenix, and the Phoenix tells them, because you have sinned in this way, you are doomed to a cycle of death and rebirth for all eternity to atone for your sins, you know. We consistently see within the stories of Phoenix that there are individuals with power that don't want to die or don't want to succumb to old age or any of these different things that happen to human beings, and they seek out the Phoenix to try to find existential relief from fear of death, and that turns into a different kind of existential pain for them. And yeah, so the Phoenix is very highly regarded as a manga. Anime adaptations are relatively well thought of, but I don't think as I understand it, don't exactly capture what's so magical about the manga. But as I watch all the Phoenix stories, I feel like I need somebody smarter than me to explain to me what the big deep message is supposed to be, or what I'm really supposed to be getting out of this.
Christella, where are you?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, because I watch this stuff and it's enjoyable, but I don't like get like what the message is, or like what the takeaway of a lot of these stories are. Like it just seems like, and maybe it's too deeply rooted in like the Japanese worldview and Buddhist, you know, like a culture that I am not a part of. So the like worldview and attitudes are alien to me and don't resonate with me. But yeah, I'm not saying that Phoenix is bad or is like, you know, to any one way or another. I'm just saying that I am too stupid to get it. I need somebody to explain it to me sometime. But I'm gonna keep watching and finish it up.
It's on Crunchyroll, right?
I am watching it on gogoanime.pe.
Ooh, illegal.
You know, it's on Crunchyroll.
I did not know that.
Ooh, you pay for Crunchy.
I do pay for Crunchyroll. I pay for Crunchyroll so I can watch stuff on gogoanime.pe without feeling bad.
Oh shit.
Well, speaking of Tezuka, you want to get into the Star Wars review?
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun. I don't know Star Wars at all. I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah, well, so I've been reflecting on, you know, how big of a Star Wars fan am I?
How big are you?
Well, because I was thinking, like, normally when we talk about this stuff, we talk about, you know, what's our background in the show we're talking about and how we're approaching it. And I feel like
you're a pretty big Star Wars fan.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in like the 30 to 40% quintile of Star Wars fans. Like, because there's certainly people that are way more into Star Wars than I am.
Okay.
But also, you know, and you know, I've seen all the movies, you know, in theaters, on DVD. You know, I've read a lot of the extended universe books when I was younger. I read all the source books and guidebooks and all this kind of stuff when I was younger. Played all the video games when I was younger. And my relationship to Star Wars has become a little bit more distant in my adult life.
That's because anime took over.
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, I think of myself as being a pretty meaningful Star Wars fan, and I know at least enough about it, you know. Yeah, Star Wars still feels very near and dear to my heart, very like emotionally powerful for me.
How did you feel when Disney acquired Star Wars?
Not good.
Yeah, it was a very unliked decision.
Yeah.
Unhealthy decision for a lot of fans.
Well, you know, if they wanted to make more, like, I suppose there must have been some level of industry that, you know, prevents them from doing this. But if they wanted to make more Star Wars movies, they should have just taken stuff from the pre-existing extended universe and made movies out of it. Like, they could have made a Shadows of the Empire movie They already made a video game out of it. Could have just made a movie that would be like relatively well received and liked, and I think there'd be a lot of genuine joy about a Shadows of the Empire movie. And yeah, extended universe has many, like the Thrawn trilogy, Rogue Squad, X-Wing Rogue Squadron series. There's lots of stuff that they could make movies out of. I think one of the basic problems with Disney acquiring this and creating new content is the fact that they feel, and this is something that I think was predictable and came to be realized in an unfortunate way, that Disney felt like they needed to put their own stamp on Star Wars. That you could see that, like, Star Wars used to be like this, but now Star Wars is a Disney thing, and now it's like that, And I think there's such a marked change in the way that Star Wars feels under Disney, and that's what I don't like about it. And this is not to say that Disney has had a 0% hit average or something. Like, I think Disney's had a couple of movies and supposedly some TV shows that I haven't watched, but Rogue Squadron was really good. I thought the Han Solo movie was quite good. The Clone Wars TV show is apparently amazing, but I haven't watched it. But the trilogy, the main trilogy, is such a fucking disaster. I mean, that's like multiple podcasts worth of discussion to
Hey, the old movies, the ones that are the prequels.
No, not those are fine. I'm talking about
the newest Disney ones.
Okay.
I'm talking about 7, 8, and 9, which are just absolute atrocities and completely miss the point of Star Wars. And in my opinion, they completely miss the entire point of Star Wars, and they just tell a story that I didn't care about and didn't want to know. And they do a bad job of doing it.
What do you think about Star Wars, Geoff?
Yeah, I think with a lot of people, it's sort of near and dear to your heart as a child, and you're like, as an adult, you go, you become like almost a purist. You're like, this is how I see it, and this is how I'll remember it. Yeah, and don't fuck with it, because you know what I mean. Like it's like you take it personally when it's fucked with, I guess. And George Lucas, you can't. I think George Lucas is a genius, but I think he also sold out a bit. And I think, what would I do in that situation? I don't know. If it's about money, money kind of corrupts people. So I think they just need to start from scratch and just, like Dan said, kind of use more source material, use things that already exist. Don't try to rewrite the playbook. Don't try to rewrite history, if you will. And I think, trying to think of a good example with this with anime. Gundam kind of is like that, but not really, because there's so many hands in the picture. I'm trying to think of a long running show that fans love. When I think of one, I'll come back to you.
A long running show that fans love that was taken over by new creators.
Yeah, and sort of corrupted in a way. That's unpopular.
Maybe Naruto to Boruto.
Oh, kind of Fooly Cooly.
Yeah, Fooly Cooly's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, Fooly Cooly's probably a pretty good analog to that. Pretty good parallel.
I really like Mandalorian though.
Yeah, Mandalorian's great. Yeah,
I think it's one thing that they've done that Disney's done that it's pretty good, and I like it. Feels closest to what the original Star Wars trilogy was like.
I agree. What about you, Amelia?
I've only seen the first 3 movies, the old ones.
Oh, those are the important ones anyway.
Yeah, but I still don't get them. I'm like I'm
What do you not get?
everything. Anyway, I'm very much a person that is like, do not ask questions during a movie. Like, shut the fuck up during a movie. Stop talking. We are watching the movie.
Mhm.
You will find out all of your answers if you watch the movie. But through Star Wars, I ask so many questions. I have so many questions about the universe and everything, that I couldn't even get past the first 3 movies to watch the other ones.
Was it
My
plot?
huh?
Was it plot, or was it the lore and the building of the world?
I think it's the lore. Like I really like the aesthetic. I like the mix of like the old technology with like new technology kind of thing that Star Wars does. But I don't know. The lore is too much for my brain to wrap my head around. For the longest time, I thought Star Wars was only the Ewok Adventures. That is what I thought Star Wars was. That's the only movie that I had was the Ewok Adventures. And
cool.
So to my surprise as an adult, it was not just about Ewoks.
Well, I've got a kind of similar story. Growing up, when I was a little kid, I'm talking like kindergarten, first grade, I would watch episode 4, A New Hope, relentlessly. I'd watch it all the time. It was my favorite movie.
Did you break the VHS tape?
No.
I did that with a bunch of movies.
Pretty good.
Playing them too many times.
Very cool. Well, no, I did not break this one. But yeah, I watched it a lot. It was Star Wars, A New Hope, and the original Transformers movie. Those were the two, you know. And so I watched this Star Wars movie for years and years. And then one day when I was in 5th grade, and you know, you got to think like this is before the internet, and I'm a little kid, and like I don't like know what's going on. It's hard to garner information when you're a child, you know. So I'd watched this movie for multiple years, and then one day out of nowhere, we watched it, you know, as a family, and my parents were like, "Oh yeah, that's so good. Do you want to watch the next one?" And I was like,
"There's more?
What the fuck you mean there's a next one?
What the fuck you mean it's the middle of the story?"
So yeah, like why did you like we've been watching this movie for years and you never once thought to mention there were 2 more after it? Like what the fuck?
Jesus. Let me talk to your parents right now.
I know. Well, so that's the thing.
I
confronted my parents about this as an adult. My mom claims that that's not true, and my dad was like, didn't quite remember what Star Wars was anyway, and I had to explain to him, you know, kind of jog his memory as to what is Star Wars. And yes, there are 3 movies, and I did used to watch this as a little kid, so he just doesn't remember.
I think there was. For me personally, they had them all like not streaming. They had the trilogy playing on broadcast TV in like elementary school, and this is right around the time that they redid the movies with new CG and they re-edited them.
Yeah.
You know, it was huge, and they released them on VHS, and they had them in theaters again. So that's kind of the time period where I started to really love Star Wars. Do you remember that?
Yeah, of course. I saw all the not reissue, but the like new editions of this stuff in theaters at the Senator Theater in Baltimore on the big screen. Yeah, it was very cool. Yeah.
So besides Ewok Adventure, I had not experienced Star Wars until I was in college.
Yeah, so Amelia, I feel like, you know, over New Year's we'll have to sit down and just watch all the Star Wars movies together, and we can pause, and I will explain everything to you as we go.
Okay.
And we can just have a dedicated viewing that is like we don't got to worry about anybody else. We'll just hit pause whenever you got a question. And
should we live stream this?
Yes. It'll be an 8-hour live stream. If I could predict the amount of time based on our podcast.
Yeah.
Facebook live stream coming to you.
I think it's because I don't understand when I don't want to say companies, but like when creators decide to adapt the middle of the story before they adapt the beginning of the story, and then they go backwards to tell the beginning of the story,
Yeah.
and then you
So
go forwards to tell the rest of the story, like that. And that, I understand that, like, that's kind of how Star Wars had to be, but that whole, we're here, and this is the technology that we have to make these movies. Now we're here, and this is like the beginning, though.
yeah,
And there's
but
better technology to make these movies. My brain can't compute that.
Yeah, but I want to focus in on your keyword adapt, because I think that's an important point in understanding how Star Wars came to be in this sense, because Star Wars was not adapting anything. George Lucas created these 3 movies from scratch, and it's true that he created the middle of the story, but it's not that he had a beginning of the story figured out, then a middle of the story figured out, then an end of the story figured out. He just created this thing and just randomly decided he's going to place this in the middle so that he has leeway to work on either ends. And I think Star Wars would have been an excellent trilogy without, I don't think you need the prequels to understand or to appreciate correctly the middle 3, the original 3. And I think that's a really important part of the Star Wars world building, is the idea that there's so much more that you're not aware of, and there's so much more that is shrouded in mystery that we just can't quite know, that's just a little bit beyond the scope. Star Wars always hints that there's more than you know, that there is like this whole world, this whole history, like there's so much, and we just see this little tiny snapshot of it. We just see like the key points, but not all of the surrounding context. And I think that's an important point of like why we just get the middle.
Yeah. And I think that's actually kind of telling that you say that based on Star Wars Visions, this animation series, because that's kind of exactly what they did.
Yeah.
I feel like very much that there is so much more to each of the stories that they're telling that I don't know. And I'm getting just one little snapshot of it. So I think in that sense, they did a pretty good job.
I did not think so.
No.
Well, it's important to point out too that this is not canon. Each one of these episodes, it's not canon. So it's important also to mention that this, if you don't have Disney Plus, you can't watch this.
Yeah. You can't watch it. Hey, yo, we got Disney Plus over here. We rolling.
Yeah, so it's 9 episodes of kind of like vignettes, right? And they're all short films, 30 minutes to 15, some are like 10 minutes long. And there's different studios for each film. I think Science Saru and Trigger were the only 2 that had 2 shorts.
Yeah, I also really want to mention Geno Studios did one of the episodes, which I think is really cool, because I think they are kind of like an up and coming studio in the world of newer anime and 3D and stuff like that. And I really, really, that was the episode that I think I enjoyed the most, besides the Trigger episodes, obviously, like the first Trigger episode.
So yeah, what's overall impressions? Dan, what do you...
I'm just gonna unload this little tidbit. I'm not a fan of short stories in a series. I'm not a fan of that way of storytelling. Junji Ito does it. Like, there's a lot of creators that do it. Not to say that I didn't enjoy what I was watching, but it's one of those things where I'm like, I can't get invested. I'm like, it's gonna be over soon. I'm what's happening now? Okay, right, perfect. And then it's over. But I want to comment on what I think it does well. And I think showing these different stories and these different characters that are kind of beloved in different ways than you're used to seeing them. I think each studio, you can tell, I mean, we watched the trailer, like the people that were working on these animations really wanted to be working on these animations. And I think you can tell that from just the visual aspect alone of how each studio decided to take their story visually. I think for Star Wars fans, it's something that, you know, you'll pick out certain like aspects of the story that you already know from the story's canon or like whatever, you know. And then for people who aren't into Star Wars like me, it wasn't that I couldn't enjoy it. I was just enjoying different aspects of it. Like when in the episode The Twins, when the boy took off his helmet or mask or whatever, and he revealed this luscious, flowing Trigger-esque character design. I was like, shit, I'm here for this. Okay, Trigger, let's go. And then they went into like this battle, and I just think Trigger really pulled it off visually. But I will say I did not get any of the stories. I could not tell you what any of them were about.
What do you think, Geoff?
Overall, so I like shorts like these. I know what you mean by you can't get too invested, but that's kind of the point. You know, it's really like these studios pushing or showing what they can do, and it's like a sort of a commercial or like, you know, advertisement for their art, for their work,
kind of like Isaac.
Yeah, and that's what I thought about. I thought a lot about Isaac, and these are all passion, you know, projects of passion for a lot of these people, a lot of these artists. And this is not a new thing. Like you have Neo Tokyo, which is like 87, which is a bunch of shorts, you know, and they
Jaden Smith's thing.
Who?
That's Neo Yokio.
Oh,
that's Neo Yokio.
No. That's a newer thing. Yeah.
That's big Toblerone, Dan.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Neo Tokyo it was a bunch of shorts, and they showcased like Madhouse, and they had Katsuhiro Otomo do shorts in a very science fiction kind of way. There's, you know, Animatrix, Memories. So this kind of like follows that tradition.
I think a couple of them visually also are really pulling from that that era of animation.
Some of them, yeah.
Some of that one, it was, what was it? Obi-Wan, that episode, I feel like was very that-esque, Kaiba-esque, you know?
Kind of. I thought that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I enjoyed. So that's the thing. It's like
you gotta love hate.
Enjoyed and the animation a lot, and I think this, like, you can't really elaborate too much on a deep story for a lot of these. And I think what works well is that you can like pick your favorite and be like, all right, I'm gonna watch this maybe a couple times. Maybe I didn't like all the other ones, but maybe I'll rewatch these. And you know, even if it doesn't follow canon Star Wars, I still enjoyed the
idea of
it. Yeah, it's like what if, you know, they did Batman, they did a lot of the Marvel and DC characters with anime studios. I mean, those kind of worked a little bit, but you know, like, it's the big question, like, do we need it? It's like, you know, why not, I guess.
Do we need it?
Yeah, to me the answer was no. We do not need this. I didn't like this. I can find no joy in things, so the canonicalness of it, like, there are some episodes I begrudgingly thought were good, but in general, I don't want this.
I'm upset they didn't do any with Ewoks.
Yeah,
where my Ewoks at? Where my furry clan at?
I figured Disney must have given them some guideline on what they were looking for, because every episode dealt with Jedi and kyber crystals, and they
so
really
that is something I did not pick up on.
Yeah, like every episode was about Jedi and kyber crystals, and the Sith. They couldn't, you know, they kind of alternated between, you know, whether the Sith were long extinct or the Jedis were long extinct, or whether they were neither of them were long extinct or what. But they were very focused on lightsabers, kyber crystals, Jedi and Sith. Disney was very relaxed in lending out the Star Wars theme music because they had a lot of kind of classic melody in the soundtrack of all this. And they, I don't know if Disney told them or if everyone was just smart enough to pick up that the transition should always be the soft sliding transitions rather than hard cuts, which is the Star Wars way of doing things. I don't know if, and that carried through in all the shorts. And I don't know if Disney, told them, reminded them to do that, or if all of these animation studios figured it out on their own. But
there are a bunch of extras on Disney Plus, and they kind of, from what I get out of it, they're just like, do whatever the fuck you want. But
really,
to your point, Dan, it's like there's a lot of similar elements in each of these.
I can't imagine Disney's like, do whatever you want.
No, they gave him. They talked to the they had interviews with the head, some of the heads of and they I mean, but it's like, okay, well, what don't they tell you, right, in the interview?
Yeah. And I on the one hand, I am willing to believe this, but on the other hand, it just seems like a bizarre coincidence that out of 9 short films, 7 of them deal with lightsabers and kyber crystals relating specifically to Sith and Jedi. I mean, that wouldn't, is that really what everybody thinks of Star Wars? Or if you had the freedom to make any kind of Star Wars story, 7 out of 9 people are going to make that kind of story.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's so many angles they could approach these shorts.
And maybe kyber crystal is such a weird little Star Wars factoid to zoom in on. The fact that it came up so many times, when it comes up in the original movies once, this is weird, just weird to me.
Did you enjoy the 9th Jedi, episode 5, the manufacturing of the
no.
Okay.
I liked Loppin.
That was the production IG one.
Yeah.
So we should go through each of these individually, but production that it was okay.
Yeah. So
Dan really bobbed his head there.
Yeah, let's briefly go through them then, right?
Yeah. So the first one was the Duel.
This is one I didn't like the most.
By
maybe
Kamikaze Duga was the animation.
Duga.
Yeah, this was the Kurosawa-esque.
Yeah.
I just really did not like the 3D models with the scratches on top of it being animated differently than the 3D model. It was it kind of reminded me of the treatment that Yasuke got, where they're telling an old the setting is old. The setting looks like Edo, and is that right? I don't know. Anyway, it looks like old world, whatever, and then the animation is so new, where I'm just like, why did you choose to do it with new animation styles? Why not try and make the older animation style shine in this one? But obviously that is exactly what they wanted to do because it is their passion project. I just personally did not like it.
I agree. Yeah, I like the homage to Yojimbo, but I didn't like it aesthetically as much as I wanted to.
It was hard to see, to see what's happening, who the people were.
I begrudgingly like this one. I would when we watched this one's first off, I thought, well, maybe this will be okay. There were things about it. There were several points that did not make sense by the interior logic of Star Wars, but in general, I thought it was okay, acceptable.
Okay, what was the next one?
Tatooine Rhapsody
by Studio Colorido. Please keep these people away from Star Wars.
It was a very Adult Swim, if I might say.
It was absolute garbage.
This
This is definitely the guy in the preview that was like, we should do a Star Wars rock opera. No, shut up.
This is the Daft Punk Star Wars,
Yeah. Ooh.
collab.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I enjoyed it mid, very mid. I thought the song, okay.
The song was,
No. I mean,
at first I thought it was the Pillows. I was like, oh, they got the Pillows to do the song? Cool.
No, he was singing real bad to be. Yeah, I wonder what happened there. I wonder.
Well, I'm sure that the creators, I don't think anything happened there, because insofar as I'm sure the creators would look at this episode and feel like, oh, this was a great Star Wars rock opera. But I just think that conceptually, this is just bad. Like, Jabba's not what? Like, everything about it.
Well, when the first character, the bassist came, like I was like, is that Jabba? Is that Jabba? It kind of looks like him, but I have no idea anything about Star Wars, so.
Distant cousin.
So
Jabba.
the Hutts as a race are supposed to be gangsters. Like, the Hutts are a species that culturally they're very deep in organized crime, and that's why the bass player says that, like, oh, Jabba wants me to join the syndicate, the organized crime syndicate, but I don't want to, and I don't care that Hutts are supposed to be gangsters. I want to be a rock star, not a gangster. What? Like,
it was.
What the fuck is, like?
I have
what
a
the
summary.
fuck?
I have a summary.
I hate it.
Star Wars, but make it pop punk.
Yeah, that's doing a disservice to pop punk. Man.
Yeah, this is probably one of my least favorite ones out of all the 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely my least favorite.
This is if T-Turtle did the character designs.
Yo, what's so funny about that is I have no idea anything about Star Wars, and all we do all day is print all these fandom shirts from Star Wars, and I'm like, who the fuck are these people? And then, like, I'm watching these and I'm like, oh, that's who the fuck they are.
T-Turtle is a popular clothing company that we print for.
Yeah.
And Boba Fett was in this one. What the
I was
fuck
okay.
so
I
did
did not
this to Boba Fett.
Okay, so I need an explanation, because Boba Fett, I don't know who he is. He looks like Mandalorian.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So
Are
so
they
the
two
idea,
different things?
yes. So
Are
the
they two
idea,
different people?
yes.
Okay.
So
That's all I
the
needed to know.
idea.
I'm like, who's this Mandalorian looking ass over here?
So the Mandalorian is, if I remember correctly, is supposed to take place before all the Star Wars movies, right?
Okay, sure. Tell me, Dan. Tell me.
And am I right in that, Geoff?
It's taking place. No, it's taking place after the rebellion.
New baby Yoda, because new Yoda.
You'll see more if when you watch the second season. You'll they kind of tie that in, tie the Mandalorian in.
Because the original idea of Boba Fett was that Boba Fett was the last Mandalorian, that all of the Mandalorians were killed except for Boba Fett.
Okay, so Mandalorian is a race of people.
Yes, Mandalorian is a race of people.
Okay, perfect.
And they all wear the traditional combat outfit, and they don't take off their helmets.
Okay, got it. I'm like,
it's the I mean, in the original 3 Star Wars, the concept, and maybe this has been changed with the Mandalorian and Disney and whatnot, but the original idea was that Boba Fett was the last Mandalorian. The Mandalorians were dead except Boba Fett. He's the last one.
Got it. Okay, next one, since we hated that one. Hey, it's trash. Throw it out. Moving on.
The twins.
I really like this one.
Yeah,
Although very Trigger-esque by
Yeah.
chopping that whatever big ass spaceship in half with one baby lightsaber.
Yeah, it made me laugh out loud because everything about it was so
triggered.
obviously Trigger
Yeah.
and so patently Trigger. I
Yeah.
felt like this is a good Trigger work. It is not a good Star Wars work, but that's okay. Like if I were to approach this as just this is a Studio Trigger short film inspired by Star Wars, then it like okay, like this makes sense. It's got nothing to do with Star Wars really. It's like just shoehorning some aspects of Star Wars into a Studio Trigger production.
Yeah, it's like the best. I think they do the best job of subverting like what you think of Star Wars. Just like fuck it, we're gonna throw all the rules out the and just do what we want. And Imaishi is responsible for that because he's just blowing people's minds right now.
Yeah,
I know. Well, that boy took his hat off, and I was like, "Who is this Promare character? Why is the Promare character doing in this anime?"
That was when I laughed out loud in real life.
I was like, "Okay, Trigger. Okay, Trigger."
Yeah.
No, I just to elaborate on the action that just like the laughing out loud part of Luke. Oh no, I'm not the guy. I said Luke. Kare, whatever his name is, Kare. When he's literally flying on the X-wing, and he does a flip, and he cuts the Star Destroyer in half. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
insane.
It's totally all the animation style, the kinetic action sequences, big explosions, the like I don't care about anything, I just care about following my dream and fighting spirit. And it's like this is so Studio Trigger.
But that's why I was invested in that one. I was like, I don't know what the fuck is happening, but I like this one. I like it.
I'm gonna go back and rewatch this one.
Yeah, I genuinely like this one, but I liked it because I'm a Studio Trigger guy, and their stories tend to resonate with me. I didn't enjoy it from a Star Wars perspective, or it's not like I disliked it from a Star Wars perspective. It's more like I didn't even account for the idea that this is supposed to be related to Star Wars. I just felt like, oh, this is just some Studio Trigger shit.
It's a college fan anime.
Oh, I would love to see a like college project of Star Wars. Someone fresh animators.
All right.
Okay, anyway, next one.
Number 4, The Village Bride by Kinema Citrus.
I feel very indifferent about this one.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I don't care, but I didn't care about this. The story, I was just like, it's one. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get to the. I saw the thumbnails for everything, and I was like, okay, this looks, whatever, newer anime style, blah blah blah. And then I was like, I'm waiting to get to this other one because the little robot boy. I really wanted to see that one. So it was more like, I need to get through this one so I can watch a little robot boy.
Yeah, I thought this one was okay. It was just okay. Yeah, unremarkable maybe.
Wow, guys, I think they need to do better. Unremarkable from Dan. 1 star on Rotten Tomatoes.
1 star. Yeah, I don't have anything really great to say. Not anything great, but just anything poignant to point out. It's
right.
Poignant. Yeah. I feel like the color. I think the color palette was nice and kind of minimalistic design. But
I liked the villain.
Villain's cool.
But I also felt like the villain in this one looked like another villain in another one too. I wasn't sure if that was supposed to be because he's like a specific villain or not.
Coincidence.
Okay. He looked very Voldemort, and I was like, okay, I'm here for that.
Okay, the next one was The Ninth Jedi by Production IG. And there were things about this that were good. Like I felt like certain aspects of the kind of overall concept and story writing were good. You know, like the ending, you know, it did feel appropriately like a swath, like a little swath of a larger story in a way that I thought was well executed. But there were other things about it that I just didn't like and that are so out of bounds. Like there's only supposed to be 2 Sith at a time. I don't know why there's like 9 Sith or 8, 7 Sith up in this place. And
I don't know why they are 8 Sith up in this John's, but
yeah, and each Jedi is supposed to make their own lightsaber. That's the whole fucking point. And so I don't know why they all want somebody else's lightsaber. Like I don't know, like everything about the lightsaber and kyber crystal stuff was like, I don't even know, lightsabers that change their length and based on your force attunedness, like that doesn't make any sense to me. Just everything, like it was too far out of bounds, and I didn't like that.
Maybe would you say this was Star Wars but make it Sword Art Online?
No, because when I think of what makes Sword Art
Mm-hmm.
Online what it is, yeah, it's not like Sword Art Online is what it is because of, you know, one overpowered character that is mysteriously a ladies' man despite having no charisma, and they're like stuck in a video game, and I don't think this had any of those.
But double lightsaber.
Did this one have a double lightsaber?
Then isn't that what you just said? They were trying to get other people's lightsabers.
Well, it was the little artisan guy had made like, you know, 8 or 9 lightsabers or whatever, and was like, oh, go bring these to the Jedi up in the I don't know what that was, the giant kyber crystal space station that was floating around this planet.
It was Axis, Dan. It's part of Axis.
But you know, if they were real Jedi, I think they wouldn't take somebody else's lightsaber. You're supposed to make your own. That's pretty well grounded in the Star Wars universe.
I like the beginning of this one a lot. The tone of it was really done well. Like it really brings you in, draws you in to this like possible mission of building, you know, getting these important lightsabers to someone, and then having that like droid drinking the tea. Thought it was clever, which wasn't really tea, it was probably oil, but yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a good example of Star Wars humor.
Yeah, this one was directed by Kenji Kamiyama, of Gits fame, Standalone Complex. So I think
really
high pedigree.
I'm looking this up on Wikipedia.
If you're watching the video, Dan just made the best face ever. It was a very Dan face.
Oh, this guy. So, he's worked on Jinro, Pat Labor, Blood the Last Vampire. He directed the, you know, Best Ghost in the Shell TV show,
Eden of the East.
So actually, this guy's a pretty reputable guy. So. Yeah, he just needs to brush up on his Star Wars a little bit. But I don't know. I mean, he's seems like he's enough of a professional that he probably like knows he's breaking the rules and feels like he's been given some leeway to do this. But you know, consistency is important. interior logic is important to making a good story, in my opinion. So
Is it, I think about this, I'm like, this is 30 minutes long. This is probably the longest one of the
Mhm.
longest. It's like, is that better or worse for the creators to have more time to tell a story or less time?
better, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking a Legend of the Galactic Hero Boy over there, so longer the better for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, should we jump?
Yeah, this is the cutest one. I love this one. This next one.
TOB1 by Science Saru.
Yeah. The little toaster that could vibes.
I didn't like this one.
You don't like it?
No.
It's very Kaiba.
Yeah, but droids don't have force affinity. Like, just from the get-go, I was like,
So
why
this is
this?
where if I was a Star Wars fan, I might not like it.
Yeah, maybe. The droid should have, the droid is like, oh, I'm gonna be a Jedi and I'm like gonna find my kyber crystal and become one with the force or whatever. But it's like, dude, the force exists through all living things. Like, droids are not living, they're machines. Like, this is pretty well specified in the Star Wars universe. So like, this is not a story about AI liberation. This is like the force. this little robot should not be involved in the force.
This
What
is
he
a
does,
Pinocchio story.
yeah.
Oh, Pinocchio. I didn't even think about that.
Or Astro Boy. It's kind of like an Astro Boy type.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But I didn't like it. And I spent about the first half of the episode being like, does that guy have no arms, or is he just drawn kind of weirdly and his arms are like clasped behind his back at all times? And it took a while for me to realize that no, in fact, he is drawn without any arms.
Yeah, this was I really liked this as an experimental anime, an experimental animation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's probably the most unique out of all of them. It's because it's experimental, maybe just because of on those grounds alone.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't even really use a whole lot of Star Wars sound effects. They were like really abstract sounds, like you wouldn't think that would match what was happening.
Mm.
You notice that?
No, because I don't think I recognize Star Wars sounds. Besides lightsaber. No, I recognize that sound, but maybe that's why I liked it. Because it wasn't doing Star Wars.
Now this is closely that resembles Azukin, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a very Yuasa sense of character design.
Mm-hmm. And kind of like set design as well.
Yeah.
Very fantastical, I felt like.
What's also cool about Science Saru is the fact that the creator is Korean, one of the co-founders.
Oh, cool.
And the director on this one is of Spanish descent. That was kind of interesting. From Spain.
From Spain?
He's a Spaniard, rather.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Spaniards represent.
So Science Saru seems like they have a pretty good relationship with Masaki Yuasa.
Yeah, there's a Yuasa movie coming out.
Oh, they best buds.
It was just shown at the Venice Film Festival.
Yeah,
and Kids picked it up.
I feel like I remember seeing something about that.
So I'm looking at this online, and Science Saru is the animation studio behind Keep Your Hands Off Isaac and Japan Sinks 2020.
Best comedy of the year.
Ride Your Wave. I mean, they've done a lot of Yuasa work. So this makes me feel like, okay, like it's no coincidence that their contribution here has this sort of aesthetic and this sort of vision. That's what they do. So it's a shame that it's not appropriate for Star Wars.
I enjoyed it.
Me too.
I forgot to point out about the last episode that Dan, that you didn't like the fact that you had your boy, the voice actor of Zorro in there, Kazuo Nakai rather. Yeah, that was like the only one of the only reasons also why I like that episode was because of the voice actor.
Oh, well, I watched them all in English actually.
Yeah. So did you guys did you both or just one?
No,
Just
I
English.
did. Did you watch it in Japanese?
No, I only watched it in English.
I did a little bit of both. I jumped back and forth.
Oh, okay. I said play. Okay, I gotta watch this play.
Well, the closed captions on Disney Plus were obnoxiously big.
Oh,
A large portion of the screen.
Mm.
But I was like, I like the dub, but there's some of the episodes where I really just wanted to watch it in Japanese.
Mm. Okay, The Elder.
Yeah, so I gotta say, I begrudgingly liked these last three.
Really?
So, The Elder by Studio Trigger, I thought was the best one. By far.
Really?
Yeah.
They were just talking. They're just walking and talking.
Yeah. Well, it's the only one that actually made sense within the scope of Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
Was like to me, it was the most reasonable of all the short stories. It actually felt like it didn't feel like it was a chunk of anything. Like the production IG one felt like this was a little slice of a much larger story, and The Elder by Studio Trigger felt like this was the story. It wasn't like a chunk of anything larger. It was just a snapshot of the daily life of these two Jedi, doing their Jedi thing and going about their business. It was something that could feasibly happen within Star Wars canonically, but it wouldn't really matter because there wouldn't be any like long lasting effects or anything. Just a little slice of daily life in the Star Wars universe. I thought it was actually pretty engrossing and interesting for that reason.
Yeah, I agree with what a lot of you. Yeah, I agree with what you just said, Dan. A lot of that. I didn't like the character designs as much in this episode, but I agree. I think it felt like a Star Wars episode, like a real Star Wars scene. Like if they just took it and made it a live action, it would have felt like canon almost.
Yeah,
that was a little boring. I was like, I don't think I like Star Wars.
Oh, the pace. Well, it was a slow pace type of episode, but that is sort of
Star Wars
characteristic of Star Wars.
In some ways,
especially Mandalorian, like sort of the Western feel.
Yeah, and this really made me feel like, man, Studio Trigger, like they can take something and turn it into Studio Trigger product, or
they could do something else.
Yeah, stay true to the spirit of the letter, as it were, or stay true to the letter of the law, or whatever the saying is. And it made me appreciate the power and complexity of Studio Trigger. Best, great animation studio.
I'm looking at.
Sorry, you're just so Dan, and I love it.
Dan at his best.
Well, thank you.
I'm looking at the cast of some of these episodes. There's some pretty big names.
Yes.
Did you notice that, Dan? Did you recognize any of the?
I swear it was fucking Bash the Stampede every episode. I was wondering if they had the same guy. I wondered if every episode had the same voice acting cast, because I swear half the protagonists sounded like Bash the Stampede or the older Eldrick brother to me.
They had Joseph Gordon-Levitt in one episode.
What? Which one?
It was Jay. I forget. I don't know what episode that is, but I got
didn't
a huge
remember
list.
any name.
Neil Patrick Harris
What?
was
Wow.
Kare.
Ew.
He was Kare.
Who's that?
And
Which
the trigger
one?
the first trigger
First
one.
studio trigger.
Oh, the boy I thought was from Promare.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
Barney from How I Met Your Mother.
Oh.
Allison Brie was in that one. You're like, who the fuck is that?
I know
and I
I
forgot
am,
to point
I'm
out Masako Nozawa was Toby, the famous for Goku from Dragon Ball.
Was the little robot boy?
Mm-hmm.
Who was Lop? That was my favorite character out of all of these.
Lop.
Yeah. So Lop and Ocho was the next episode by Geno Studio. I also thought Lop and Ocho was excellent.
Love. If I had to pick one, I would pick Lap and Ocho. If I had to pick two, I would pick Lap and Ocho and TOB1. Those are my top two for this. I was engaged the whole time. Oh my gosh, I was so invested in Lap.
Yeah, I thought Lop and Ocho was great because it didn't deal with Jedi for once. And it was just a good story that, again, was sensible, was realistic in the interior logic of Star Wars. Like, this surely was something that...
Cool.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is the kind of story that is relatively untold within Star Wars. They kind of hint at these kind of stories in the Han Solo movie, but they don't go full bore into it. But this is a very real thing that, like, Empire rolls up to your planet, and how do you deal, how do you cope with that? Do you rebel? Do you acquiesce? Do you make buddy? Do you just fall in line? And I think that's a pretty realistic tension and conflict that has to be resolved. And I think Lop and Ocho does a great job of exploring. It reminded me a lot of Princess Mononoke, because you have the dad that's very, like, traditionalism and wanting to protect the environment and wanting to protect the family and kind of keep the status quo. And then you have the daughter that's very, like, pro-industry, pro-capitalism, like, wants to buddy with the Empire to consolidate power, to find economic progress, to find technological development, and to trade her planet's natural resources to get this material wealth. And I don't think these are these are not questions with black and white answers or with easy answers in any way. And the episode clearly wants you to believe in the dad, and it clearly takes the capitalist daughter as being the enemy and being bad, and she loses sight of her family. She eventually tells Locke that they're not, you're not in this family, you're not really my sister, and it's like a very ugly and emotional moment. But in real life, these are very complex and difficult problems to grapple with. I think it's great for Star Wars to lean into those questions a little bit.
Everything you said, same piece.
I like the animation backgrounds in this the most. Everything was hand painted, hand drawn.
The textures were unreal.
Yeah.
Wow.
They added like this film grain too, that made it look like it was like actually photographed versus digitized, if that makes sense.
See, that's what I'm saying about the first one. The first one, they could have done something weird and cool like that utilizes older technology that makes it look new and fresh, that isn't just putting a 3D model on something, That's why Geno Studio, you to go. I forget which other anime they made that I really, really liked.
Geno Studio.
I follow them on Twitter.
They look like a brand new one.
Yeah, that's why I said they're up and coming.
Golden Kamui.
Okay.
Looks like their biggest one.
Oh, is this the same studio? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I haven't watched Golden Kamui, but I hear it's really good.
I watched the first season of it and fell off second season. I feel like it'd be up your alley.
Yeah. Maybe I'll check it out.
There's only one left.
There's only one left.
Akakiri by Science Saru. I thought this one was quite good too. And again, this felt like a real Star Wars story to me. And I liked the kind of journey aspect of it. But what I really liked was the way the Jedi turns to the dark side to save his dead girlfriend at the end. The way he accidentally kills his girlfriend and then turns to the dark side in order to save her life. And I thought that was a great, like, that's the kind of shit that I want to see in Star Wars short stories that are non-canonical. You know, those are like interesting angles to discuss Star Wars. Yeah. And I thought this was when I think of the last three were the ones I actually liked, I think this was my least favorite of the last three, but the ending really pushed it over the top for me. Yeah.
Another unique animation style once again.
Yeah.
A lot of use of red in this, and it got more and more red towards the end. I guess to symbolize the dark side. And this is also one that was direct influence from another Kurosawa movie, Hidden Fortress. Like simple plot point of them traveling. Or like that framing, you know.
So something that the Star Wars Visions as a whole seems very fixated on, that I am not convinced is actually true, but all the bad guys have red lightsabers and all the good guys have green or is it blue lightsabers. They have like one of these two. But lightsabers can be any color. I don't know why they're so fixated on like all the Sith and they have to be Sith. There's no way they could be anything except Sith. You know, must have red lightsabers, but that's not canonical. And I think that's really weird. I was watching some of these with Hannah, and Hannah was convinced that that the lightsabers can change color based on whether you're good or bad at any given moment, or like what your emotion is. I'm like, that is not true, man.
I thought it was if you're
What
good
are
or
you
bad at
talking
the
about?
time you make your little lightsaber.
Well, the color of the lightsaber is based on the kyber crystal that's inside.
Of you or inside of the lightsaber?
Inside the lightsaber.
Okay.
And this is supposed to be like one of the great journeys, you know, as part of becoming a Jedi. You know, the same way that, like, I don't know, if you're like a carpenter, to truly become a carpenter, you have to build your own house, you know. I mean, that's not true, but like it's a similar kind of thought process to, like, if you're truly going to be a Jedi, you got to make your own lightsaber. You got to go harvest the kyber crystal and build your little lightsaber around it. And, you know, the color of your lightsaber depends on the kyber crystal that you harvest. So they're all different colors, you know.
So, right, because when Luke loses his lightsaber, no matter who picks it up, it's going to be the same color, right? It's going to be green.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So yeah, that didn't bother me so much. It's kind of like they're just reinventing the wheel a little bit.
Right
I
over
like that. I like that concept, and then like a mood ring. It's like a mood ring. Yeah, it's interesting though. I've watched this YouTube video of someone, like these tech guys, kind of like what was it, popular Discovery Channel show where they Mythbusters. there's like a YouTube version of Mythbusters, and they're trying to build a real lightsaber, and they eventually do it, but it's so powerful, like it's just too dangerous. They basically set the shop on fire.
Oh shit!
Like plasma beam, and they're like able to cut through like any material with it.
Really?
It's
People
nuts.
really made it?
Yeah, well, close. I guess as close as you could.
You
I'll
gotta
have to find it.
You gotta drop that link in the chat.
Yeah, I have to find it. That'll be our reaction video for the week.
I'm really interested in how things are made. Like how do you make waffle fries? How does that happen?
You take a waffle and cut it up and fry it. Huh?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Because they have the crosshatch. They have the.
You put the potatoes in the waffle iron?
No, because they have the crosshatch. It looks like you grate it and then you bread it or something, because it's a perfect crosshatch. You don't get that with like a waffle thing if you're smushing. I was gonna say mushrooms, potatoes into the waffle iron. You know, how do you make waffle fries? That's the greatest question of the world, of the universe. How to make waffle fries? Think about it.
So the lightsaber is a 4,000 degree plasma proto lightsaber build.
It's
only got 1 million views. I'll send it to you.
Yes.
So if you guys were to if you were to take any of these concepts over 9 episodes, which concept would you make out of a TV show? Like if you had like 12 episodes of a TV series, which one would you take?
That's an interesting question to pose, because a lot of it has to do for me with visual style.
I would do one of the last 2 episodes.
I would probably go with Lapinocho, honestly.
Yeah.
I would do that one.
Damn.
I think you could do.
Is that unanimous? Jeffrey's waving his head like yes.
Yeah,
and it's a unanimous vote.
Yeah,
I would totally do.
You could do 12 episodes of Lapinocho and follow the, like, if you.
I want to see beginning to end of Lop story.
Well, I was going to say, I think you could take the single Star Wars Visions episode of Lop and Ocho and successfully expand that to be a solid 12 episodes of reasonable content and just like build it a little bit more, you know. But I think the short film has it all there. You could just flesh it out in more interesting ways, have, you know, different you know, a more steady build, greater intensity of build to the big climax where they do battle. Yeah. And I think you could do that with the last episode too. You know, you could have 12 episodes of, you know, the Jedi arrives and finds his ex-girlfriend, and you have like an episode or 2 of flashback as they go through this Mandalorian-esque journey, and then the big twist at the end is that he accidentally kills the girlfriend and becomes, you know, goes over to the dark side, and it just ends on this real sour note. I think that'd be pretty interesting too.
Get George Takei to play Senshu again. Give him a hug and a kiss. He's so cute.
So if anybody is listening to this and has seen Star Wars Visions, we would love to know what your favorite episode is and why.
Yeah, I was just thinking, what is this the impetus to make a TV show? Like, is this gonna be a gateway for that?
I don't think so.
No.
I think this is it. Let's just stop here. Yeah.
I think that's what I'm gonna guess. Because I think if the idea was to, you know, have everybody pitch their concepts for TV shows, some of these would have really missed the mark, and B, I think there would be some sort of, like, it wouldn't be released in this manner. You know, I think there'd be some sort of like now we're gonna have everybody vote on their favorite episode, and whoever gets the most votes gets our contract. Some shit like that.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Would you all give it scores? Are we doing scores? Would you say go watch it?
Yeah, just go watch it. Look at the thumbnails and pick the ones you want to watch.
Yeah,
I think that's how I would go about watching this.
I guess I'd recommend the last 3 episodes, but I wouldn't watch the other ones. Unless you're a big Studio Trigger fan, then I'd watch their other episode.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, on this
once again.
Is Star Wars anime. That was our journey today.
Yeah. I hope they don't make more Star Wars content like this.
They're like, no, please stop. Please stop.
Okay, and I guess join us next episode where we discuss another short film, Ongaku. And we also talk about what we are looking forward to in this coming fall and winter season.
Heck yeah.
Halloween is coming.
Oh, the spooky season. That's why I've been watching all the Death Game stuff. Got to get your spook on.
Get your spook on.
I was literally like, the first episode, I was like, and then
we're gonna do solo casts for this review of
catch a review of Squid Game on our OnlyFans coming soon.
Anything else?
No.
If you lost a chicken in the Minneapolis area,
please come get your chicken. His name is Rupert now.
Yeah.
Poor Rupert.
Okay.
All right. See you in the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Otskare. We hope you enjoyed that episode of the Otaku Host Club podcast. If you want to be a part of the conversation or participate during episodes, hop on into our Discord server. The invite link should be in the show notes of wherever you're listening to this on. Or you can head on over to our website, otakuhostclub.com, where you'll find links to previous episodes, as well as our Instagram at Otaku Host Club, and our YouTube channel, where we put out video versions of episodes after they hit Spotify. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.